everyone, and welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Amanda and I make sewing tutorials that are straightforward and to the point. Today we're tackling the invisible zipper. It's a zipper you see on fancy dresses where you literally can't tell where it is. You will need an invisible zipper, an invisible zipper foot, some pins or clips, ruler, measuring tape, marking tool, and an iron, and your partially sewn project. I'm using this cotton eyelet dress so you can see exactly what's happening. I've got the bias lining already partially attached, but you can do this without the lining as well. My dress is also fully open down the back. Okay, before we sew anything, and this is the step most beginners skip, we need to prep the zipper. You see how the coils curl inward? We want to uncurl it. Take your iron on a low heat setting, no steam, and gently press the coil open so it lies flat. Do this on both sides. This is honestly the biggest secret to a zipper that disappears. Keep your zipper open. Place the right side of your zipper face down against the right side of your fabric. This will feel unnatural to lay the zipper face down. Line it up with the top stopper with the top edge of your garment. Because my lining is already sewn, my stopper lines up right with that seam. If you have it in the right orientation, pin it in place or use clips if you prefer. My dress has a seam allowance of 5/8 inch, so I'm lining up the tape edge with the serger edge. Take note, I have also marked the end of my zipper tape ahead of time. When buying an invisible zipper, you want to choose something that's about 1.5 or 2 inches or longer than the opening you're sewing it into. This is key for a smooth transition into the seam at the bottom. I like to pin one side at a time. Let's head to the machine to sew this side. I'm using an invisible zipper foot on my machine today. It has grooves underneath to hold the coils of the zipper as you sew. This is something you can do with a regular zipper foot that comes with your machine. However, this foot makes it so much easier to get a professional look. I highly recommend one for your machine if you plan to sew invisible zippers. Attach your invisible zipper foot to your machine. Start at the top and lower your foot. If necessary, move your needle to the left or the right to get close to the coils. The closer you sew, the more invisible it looks. Go slowly. See how my needle is landing in that fold line? That's what you want. As I approach the bottom, my pull is past my end line. This is why we need that extra length. Stop at your mark and backstitch to secure. This is the outcome we want, stitches in that fold or that ditch. If you're using a regular zipper foot, just roll the coils out of the way with your fingers as you sew and set the needle position as close to the coil as you can without catching it. It takes a little more practice, but it can work. Now let's get into some problems you may run into. First, you do not want to catch your zipper teeth in your stitch. See this? We don't want that. Our zipper will not close. This can happen even with an invisible zipper foot. It generally happens if you're pushing your coil too close to the needle as you sew. It's far more common if you use a regular zipper foot. To fix, pick out the stitches that are caught and restitch. Be sure to clip any threads. These threads can get caught in your zipper later. Zipper the zipper up and admire your work so far. With right sides together, line up the other side of the zipper. I always start at my waist seam if I have one. I want any horizontal seams or details to match up. I then line up the top stopper with the top edge and begin to pin. Everything should fall into place. Unzip and adjust your pins if needed to sew. I'm left-handed, so I tend to pin on an angle, and I sometimes need to straighten out my pins before sewing. If you move your needle the first time, move it to the other side. Stitch down as you did before. Now I'm purposely sewing this side off from the fold just to show you another common mistake I see others make when sewing an invisible zipper. I didn't get my stitches into the fold, so you can see right side of the garment, the tape will show. This will make your zipper not invisible. If this happens to you, just reset your zipper into the machine, move your needle over a bit more and restitch. There is no need to remove your first row of stitching. We can test our zipper now. I'm looking at the waist seam first, and honestly, it's a tad bit off. For me, anything this small on a patterned or textured fabric is nothing to fuss over. With pressing, this will sit fine enough for me. It really depends on how particular you want to be. I'm good with this. My top is matching up very nicely. See how it looks when it's folded over with the lining? Let's close the bottom. Here's where beginners often get stuck. We're going to close the back seam with the zipper already stitched. So pull the pole out of the way and pin your seam allowance together. Attach your regular zipper foot to your machine. Move your needle over as far as the foot edge. Place your garment under the foot right around the end mark. See how I'm folding the seam allowance around the zipper to sandwich it. I'm going to make sure all my fabric is smooth and nothing's caught. I'm now going to move my garment so my needle is about a ½ inch back from the end of my original stitching. I want my needle to land about 1/8 of an inch from my original stitch line. Drop your needle manually. Begin stitching, backstitch, and continue on. Note that if you use your plate as a guide for your seam allowance, that your needle is now not center, so your measurements won't be the same. Adjust where the edge of your fabric should be to get the right seam allowance. See how we now have a nice transition from zipper to stitching? Our original stitching actually ends right down here. I took a moment to finish my lining. I added the skirt lining. To attach my lining to the zipper on the inside, I need to get right sides together with my outer dress back. My lining is already stitched, so I need to clip here to have a place for the zipper tape extension to go. If your lining isn't attached yet, you could just catch the tape end in the seam as you sew the lining to the top of the dress. In my case, with the lining folded over, I can pin the lining and the dress and the zipper all together, right sides together. I'll use my regular zipper foot with the needle close to the edge and I will sew. I want my sewing to be slightly in from the original stitch line. And about 1/8 of an inch is just fine. Now we're gonna pull the garment to the right side and pull that stopper out at the top. See how everything is attached, and it will look really nice once pressed. Now we're going to repeat on the other side as shown. Once attached, we can follow the steps to close the lining just like we did the outside. An invisible zipper that you can literally not see from the outside. Once you nail this technique, you'll want to use it on everything. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help my channel. Drop any questions or comments below. I read every single one, I promise.